Tony with Doctors of Strongsville. My wife and I own the company, and we are just really excited for the solution that GMS has been able to provide. As far as products and services that Doctors of Strongsville offers, we're a full remodel company all the way down to your couple $100 handyman type of business. Through GMS, which has also created an efficiency for us in this, but we background check all of our employees. We W-2 all of our employees, or I guess it's now called a W-4. So forgive my previous statement, and we are really trying to provide a path for our employees to get all the benefits and all the things that a large organization has that sometimes get overlooked in the contracting world a little bit. So we're grateful that GMS has been able to be a good partner for that. When we got started, our day-to-day was very erratic for a couple different reasons. One, I was still working full-time. She had exited her full-time job to get this thing kicked off. And it was kind of like putting out a fire all the time, right? Because we didn't really know what we were doing yet. We both had corporate backgrounds, so we both had leadership backgrounds and things like that. So we knew how to sell and how to lead people. And Daniela had a little bit of a background in HR. But aside from that, it was like, here's your one sheet of our HR book and go, right? And hopefully we'll tally up hours at the end of the day with some sort of writing it down or whatever the case was. So it was a little bit all over the place and fairly chaotic. So I would say we experienced several issues in the day-to-day right when we first got started. We were very reactive when it came to some of the issues that we experienced over the first few months. For example, we had to set a whole write-up process when it came to disciplinary action. We had to manage time clocks kind of ad hoc. There were many Thursday evenings because we would write manual checks on Friday mornings. So there were many Thursday evenings trying to figure out what everybody actually got paid that week. Those were just a couple, right? But the reality of it is that all took time away from us being able to do the things that we wanted to do, which is really grow the company and create a foundation that made sense for everybody that was involved. So as we think about things that we didn't expect when we first got started, there was probably a lot of humbling moments, we'll call them, right? And one of the biggest ones for me was actually when it pertained to like taxes, right? Payroll taxes and managing all of those things. Sitting on a Sunday afternoon with the Browns game on, trying to figure out when to pay what and how to pay what, and did we, file this correctly and all those other things. We first started it quarterly because that just seemed like the right thing to do, and then we moved to monthly, and it was a lot to manage, to say it as succinctly as I can. A couple of the big issues that made us want to go outside of what we were doing currently for the process was one of the things that we really wanted to be able to introduce was benefits and 401k. So we wanted to be able to add something for our employees to be able to get medical, vision, dental, as well as have an opportunity to invest and start saving for retirement. The added bonus is I didn't want to manage payroll tax and manage all of these other things as it pertains to that. And I'm not the best HR guy. Let me be really upfront about that. So having some structure to that and having that managed for us allowed me to do the things that I want to do, which is go sell, go lead a team, and go develop a service in the community. In so doing, we've actually been able to be at least 50% over in the past 4 months of where we were when we look at it year over year. So we've basically doubled in most cases year to date. So services that GMS offers right now that stand out, I think one of the ones that is actually a very hidden benefit, one that I didn't think of when we first got started, is the HR piece. It's the time clock management, is the vehicle management systems that they have that allow us to track people. We get weekly reports on usage of vehicles, which allows us to forward to our insurance if we had to. Gives us a better rate on our business insurance, on our vehicle business insurance. as I said, the managing of payroll allows us to go focus on the things that we want to do. And those are really big things, but the HR thing is probably the biggest portion that I didn't expect. That is a huge benefit to us. So some insight into the HR side of things and how that's helped us. One of the biggest things that I've seen is, for example, your whole HR department wrote us a handbook, right? It's no longer 3 pages of I will do this and everybody signed their name and that's all we got in a kind of flimsy vehicle agreement, if you will, that says I'll maintain a valid driver's license and insurance and so on and so forth. It is a full bolstered employee handbook that allows us to manage our team to a set of standards and allows them to have a copy of it that says, okay, all of these things are important to our company and all of these things are the HR side of the process. And that's stuff that we didn't have to come up with, right? We gave them a basic framework of what we wanted, and they wrote all of it in a very legally acceptable fashion, I guess is the best way to put it, that there's no way I would have come up with all that. So GMS has opened up several doors, I think, from our perspective. One of them is just allowing us to focus on the company and growing the company. That's one. Two, it has allowed us to have as I mentioned earlier, a almost legally binding professional handbook that allows us to, carry out a set of processes and procedures and standards to our employees. The other thing that's kind of a hidden benefit that I don't think is even fully realized yet has been the networking side of things. So we've come to GMS for lunch. We've met other folks that are in similar businesses. We've heard the story of the ownership of GMS and how they got started. There's a lot of things from that perspective that I think allows Daniela and I to almost reframe our mind sometimes and go, this is a much bigger network than just our HR wing or just our payroll management wing or just this small section of extension of our company. It truly has been a partnership that has allowed us to broaden our horizons. And we're going to meet more people. We've exchanged emails with other people in the trades, and it's a benefit that I think wasn't even thought about when we got started, if that makes sense. My advice to other business owners, especially when you're getting started, the biggest thing, if I could go back 2 years, I would have signed up with this at that point. It would have saved me a ton of headaches. It would have saved Daniela a ton of headaches. It would have saved us those Sunday afternoons on the couch watching the Browns game, trying to figure out how to make payroll tax and how all that stuff should be filed. The point that I'm making is that if you're starting a company or you're a couple years in and you don't have all of these things done and down, all of these processes, it might behoove you to just reach out and have somebody who knows what they're doing do it for you. Because you really hate to get that IRS letter in the mail saying that you owe something or that you're delayed on a filing or whatever the case is, and you don't have any support except for, now I've got to figure out what I did. So having GMS there to handle that portion of it takes that huge liability and that worry away. And I just wish we would have started at that time. Would I recommend GMS to other companies? 100% yes. I would make the recommendation on the fact of it allows people to have a structure and a foundation in the areas that most people don't get into business for, right? The majority of our colleagues in the trades and in restaurants and other things like that, they don't get into business to be an HR wing or to manage tax law or because they're experts in it. And if they did, that would be the business that they start, right? A lot of us, we don't have that expertise, nor, I'll speak for myself, nor do I really find it that interesting to be able to go get it and go learn it. So I would totally recommend it because you've got a partner that has more than enough history in doing it properly, doing it the right way, and keeping you above board. And you can go focus on the things that you want to do, the reason you got into business.